A bill to ban prayer vigils outside abortion facilities was passed in Parliament last week. It's yet another piece of legislation protecting access to abortion. Remember, our government is obsessed with abortion, and the law makes, amongst other things, prayer illegal in certain circumstances. But it's not the first time this year that prayer has been criminalised. Now, before we deal with this new law just passed, last month the conversion therapy bill was passed. And that new law said that, amongst other things, carrying out a prayer based practice, which helps a person deal with unwanted sexuality or gender identity issues, is a form of conversion therapy. So, prayer is specifically included as a conversion practice, even when requested by the person. Yep, it's a crime to pray in a way that the activists don't want you to. It's a crime in New Zealand to help a person align their sexuality with the teachings and values of their particular faith. Well, I say, too bad. Carry on. Pray with anyone who requests prayer from you for sexuality or gender issues. Always pray with both truth and grace, but journey with people who ask for your support, respectfully through gentle, non-coercive advice, prayer, and open discussions. Last week, Parliament attempted to criminalise prayer once again with their Safe Zones Bill, which restricts protest behaviour outside abortion facilities. Now, before we talk about those protests, let me show you a few other protests. Here's one about 30 members of Extinction Rebellion demonstrated outside the Ridges Hotel in Christchurch. Looks a bit tense. They were hosting the New Zealand Gas Industry Forum. In this one, dozens of police and hundreds of environmental protesters clashed outside a minerals forum in Dunedin, and entry points to the forum were blocked by protesters who linked arm as they tried to prevent about 300 delegates from entering, and people were injured. In this one, activists staged a protest at the National Party's annual conference in Christchurch, with about 20 people demonstrating outside the Christchurch Town Hall's main entrance. And actually, that's a fairly common occurrence for National Party conferences. They seem to attract a protest. And animal rights protesters regularly target rodeo shows. Lots of police, it seems, lots of conflict at times, and sometimes even violence. Now look, intimidating and antisocial behaviour and violence towards anybody shouldn't be accepted and should be illegal. Well, actually, it already is. But the pro-abortion groups don't want any woman who are considering an abortion to be prayed for or to receive any messaging, which may say there's a better option than killing the unborn child. Oh, look, here's an example of some of these pesky protests outside abortion clinics. And that's fairly quiet and peaceful, isn't it? Lovely. Pregnant, you have options. Let's chat. Yeah, so look, no police, no intimidation, no violence, just love and support. And this is the irony. They call it the Safe Areas Law. Memo to politicians, an abortion is not a safe area for the unborn child. It's not a safe area for many women who have had an abortion. Actually, it should be called Stop People Protecting the Unborn Child and Pregnant Women Bill. But how much of this so-called protesting is actually a problem? Well, the Law Commission reported on this in 2018, and they said this: the Commission has not seen any clear evidence that the existing laws around intimidating and antisocial behaviour are inadequate, as would be required to justify the introduction of safe access zones. The Commission does not suggest the introduction of safe access zones. And they actually consulted with relevant agencies, professional bodies, and even abortion providers, and the Law Commission was clear that, quote, the majority felt that safe access zones were not needed, end quote. Now remember, this is the Law Commission, definitely not a pro-life organisation, as you'll see if you read their review of the abortion law from a few years ago. ACT leader David Seymour recently said, quote, proponents of safe areas are mistakenly importing a narrative from America where those accessing abortion services are grossly harassed and obstructed. Such harm is not a common problem and can be adequately dealt with by current legislation, including the Summary Offences Act, the Trespass Act. Safe areas are an impairment to freedom of expression. and create a precedent for future restrictions. What's more, the impairment is so arbitrary and weakly justified that it could serve as a justification for almost any impairment. The creation of safe areas is bad lawmaking. Well said, David. Oh, guess what? ACT voted for the law. Yeah, go figure. This new law is a solution looking for a problem. And advocates like the American activist Terry Bellamack from All Rands, which is a small pro-abortion group in New Zealand, they always quote extreme examples, all from overseas, in order to create some kind of fear in the New Zealand public's mind. But the problem is that's dishonest, and it's further evidence that the call for this bill is driven by the demand for ideological legislation. They just love abortion. Well, the bill passed with 108 votes in favour and 12 against. For Labour, 62 in favour, just 3 against. For National, 24 in favour, just 9 opposed. But we honour and salute those MPs who voted against the bill. And all the MPs in the Green Party, ACT and Te Pāti Māori voted for the bill. Why do pro-abortion groups hate these quiet, prayerful vigils so much? Well, it's because women have changed their mind. Unborn children's lives have been saved. Women have received information that they never heard before, and in fact, the state actively works to suppress the information from being given to pregnant women. Information such as the fetal development and the humanity of their unborn child, and the physical and emotional harms of abortion to women, and to fathers, I might add. They also hate these vigils because deep down, they know that prayer works. You can try and restrict prayer vigils outside abortion clinics, but you'll never be able to restrict the power of prayer. Women deserve better than what this Parliament is offering them.